All right, Gavin, we're back. We went and with another movie review, we went to go see. When we saw this trailer, I was kind of I didn't know what to feel about Keanu Reeves in a comedy. I mean, I know
But
he's
he's
done
done
comedies
comedies a
before.
long time
Obviously, he's
ago.
been in
Like
a couple of
it's been
iconic.
ages since he's been in a
Yeah,
comedy of any kind.
exactly. And then Seth Rogen, and then Aziz Asin. I mean, this was a star cast, and that's what gave me hope about this movie. And I told you before we even got on to talk about this movie, I was like, I don't even know how like kind of describe how I feel about this movie because I was expecting to laugh my ass off in the theater. And a lot of people, there were some super comedic moments, especially with Keanu Reeves. I
He
thought he was
definitely
probably the
was.
strongest character in this
For sure.
whole entire movie. But um it was very wholesome, and I think that's probably the best way I can describe this movie. It's definitely a movie you don't have to go see in the theater. I think you could watch this movie anywhere, in your living room, wherever you're at on the airplane, and feel the exact same way you feel about at once you walk out of the theater or wherever you're at. This movie is consistent. The storytelling is great, and that's the thing. I didn't expect to see come in and watch and listen to such a great story being told with one really acclaimed actor and then two comedians, and that was the biggest surprise to me. I love the story in this. I was sold right from the start, and I actually wanted to see where the characters ended up. And it kind of took some twists and turns, and I think this is a very unique sort of, it isn't unique in the sense of them switching lifestyles. I feel like that has been done so many times in cinema, but I feel it was unique in the way the story was told and the characters were portrayed. And it was a really fun watch. I laughed a ton of times. I thought Keanu Reeves killed it. Seth Rogen was also strong, and he wasn't overly comedic like he
Right,
is
not
in
quite
certain
overacting
movies.
like he
I mean,
kind of
there's so
can
many.
do.
Exactly. So I personally like that part a lot, and I didn't mind it whatsoever. I thought Seth Rogen and everybody performed so well, and it's a true story about what it's like to be the modern economic like status, like, and the class difference, and somebody living a rich lifestyle and somebody just trying to get by. And I think that's what I like the most, is how real it was, but also funny. And I feel like they balanced that the whole entire
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
during the
there's
story.
something to be said for movies not doing this anymore. Good examples of this are Eddington and One Battle After Another. Even The Roses is a decent example of something that you look at and you go, okay, so they wanted to make a social commentary on something, but it all felt really heavy and it was super intense. Or like The Roses, like it's a great commentary on how modern relationships are. But man, we were exhausted leaving that movie, and it was great. It was a good movie, but like, you just don't get stories like this anymore where you're like, oh, I feel like I can root for everybody in this movie. You kind of root for Jeff, Seth Rogen's character, to become less of a douche. You root for Aziz Ansari to be able to find his way and, appreciate the things in life. You're even rooting for Gabriel, Keanu Reeves' angel with the little wings and like all this other stuff. Like,
he had the best character development out of all of them. It was so funny.
Far. It's not even close, really. Like, I think my favorite scenes from him was when he first tries a cheeseburger and they're sitting in this diner, him and Seth Rogen, after the lives have swapped, and he's looking at Seth and he goes, how do I know when to stop chewing? And Seth literally just looks at him and goes, you know what? I think you'll just know. And he was like, oh my gosh, are you sure? And takes a bite, and it's the most awkward and uncomfortable and hilarious thing. And then takes a sip of his shake and he's like, can you imagine knowing what strawberries were like for 3,000 years and never having tasted one? And then Seth just goes, well, that's chocolate. But yeah, I mean, so like, those were the really good moments of the movie. And it had that nice, wholesome story to it. It has, things that you wouldn't mind being personal life goals. Hey, you're going through it. You're working 3 jobs. You're barely making rent. You're this and that and the other. Find ways to find the happiness and the good things in your life instead of focusing completely on the negative. Well, that's not a bad strategy for life in general. I mean, I remember looking at you during part of the movie and going, so this is what we do all the time. We're just working like 3 or 4 jobs constantly. You're doing 6 days a week. And I think it's
Yeah. Door dashing, doing
and
whatever
I
you
think
can.
that it's something that's such a common theme because so many people struggle with this and go through this, that it's a really good storyline, but they don't address it in a way that feels heavy or burdening or anything else like that. It's just part of the entertaining story, and they make some of the moments comical, and I think that's a really strong point to this movie. The other characters, like you said, were good. Aziz's is got the best connection with anybody in the movie because he ends up befriending Jeff. He ends up
Yes,
befriending
100%.
Gabriel. And the entire time he spent pursuing Keke Palmer's character, Elena. And that
Which I love. I love
highlight
the
of the movie
relationship.
for me.
They were so
I mean,
good.
it's definitely one of the best relationships throughout the entire movie. And she did a great job. I can't remember having seen her in anything recently.
Yeah, she hasn't been really in much, but in this, that's what I loved about it the most. It was so real and like a great take on just what it is like for some people that are like grinding and just trying to get by. I don't know how many people are sleeping in their cars, but it makes you root for the character. And then the one thing that I loved the most is that they didn't go crazy with the angel stuff. They kept it super simple, which is what I like the most. Is once they made the rules very simple, they made the jokes very simple for Keanu, and Keanu playing that character was gold, to be honest, because Keanu's kind of like an emotionless actor. He always plays kind of like that, I don't know, like monotone, doesn't really like go up or down. He has in the past with like some great movies, but for this I felt like it just works so well because he's like, I just want to help people, and him overextending and breaking the rules a little bit, that's where the movie gets interesting. And then when he dives into the real world, oh my god, it is so funny. It's like Thor going
From Asgard to Earth. Yeah,
Asgard to Earth. That's the vibes I kind of got. And there were so many funny moments. I mean, when he eats the chocolates and there's like shrooms in them, they're having this big party, and that
when
that is hilarious.
Jeff comes out to him outside of his job at the diner, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? You're smoking now? And he was like, leave me alone. It's the only thing I have. I died. I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Gets one taste of real life, and he's drinking outside the liquor
by
store.
A dumpster. He's chain smoking. He's doing shrooms. Like, dude said 5 minutes of reality just ain't gonna do it for me. I need to be out of here.
Jeff is like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, what is going on here? I just laugh so hard. But that's the thing I love the most. And then, yeah, Aziz's character really just connects with everyone, and I think brings everyone. And I love Jeff and Ari's connection too. That was great when they switch bodies, and then Jeff gets his memories back. That is where I buy in 100% because it gets really interesting after that, and the dynamics are pretty funny. But that's the thing. I don't think that's what I love about this the most. It's a funny movie, but you're not going to be walking out of there being like, oh yeah, that's the funniest movie I've ever seen. You're just going to be walking out of the movie saying, I watch a good story that was real and made me laugh a couple of times. And I think that's what these types of movies need to be and like come out with. I don't think you need to just, handcuff yourself to it. Oh, I'm a comedy. I can't talk about real stuff or like tell a really good story and like buy into the characters.
It
I
does.
think that's what
and
this
it
does
takes
super
me
well.
back to like early 2000s, 2010s comedies when this style of comedy was a lot more prevalent. And honestly, we got some of the best comedies ever. In fact, it's way past 2010, but this is another odd example. Do you remember the rom-com with Michael B. Jordan and Zac Efron and Miles Teller?
Okay, I've seen clips of it. I'm pretty sure I've seen
That's
it,
fine.
but I can't remember it vividly
It's
off the top
still
of
a
my head of what
really,
like the title
really,
of it is,
really good
of it
movie.
is.
It's one of my favorite like comfort movies to just go and watch when I want something on, but I don't want to have to pay attention.
I do see the clip of Miles Teller being like, "You're gonna bring a girl over for the second time in a row," and he's just like talking about. He's like, "I'm done, man. This is unacceptable." He goes, "I'm gonna get blacked out. I'm gonna
Yeah,
black
my
out."
favorite
And I just
scene in that
laughed so
entire
hard.
movie is Michael B. Jordan's girl leaves him, or I don't remember which one of them it is, but somebody leaves somebody, and Michael B. Jordan's in the kitchen with a half pint of Chunky Monkey, and Miles Teller literally picks it up out of his hand and throws it out his apartment window, and he's like, "No, no, no, no. We're going out. This is ridiculous. We're not sitting here eating Chunky Monkey. Like, come
Yeah,
on." But
it's
those kinds of comedies, the feel good story, good
yeah.
motivations, good characters that aren't built around complicated stories, because Good Fortune and that movie, they're not complicated stories. They're relationship stories at their base. Aziz is pursuing Kiki's character. Seth is trying to develop his character. Keanu is trying to develop his character. All of these are just relationships that take place in the movie, and it's underlined by a good message. So, I mean, the story's not going to win an Oscar. And it's not going to be the funniest movie of the year because they take it a little bit more seriously. But all in all, it's still a really entertaining movie to sit through because it carries some weight with it without having it feel heavy and gross throughout the entire movie.
I had to go to the bathroom so bad during this movie, and I was like, I need to stay because I want to see like what happens. And that was horrendous. I was like, oh my God. Like I'm at the end of the movie. I was like, I need to see what happens to
When
Ari. Like this is
you see the
ridiculous.
taco
But
get
no, that's the
picked up.
thing.
Okay, I'm
This
sorry. This is a big interjection, but
oh
little
yeah.
scene breakdown
Yes.
here. Aziz takes Keanu to go get tacos, and he's trying all this food for the first time ever. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I love tacos." And then 30 minutes later in the movie, they're sitting on a bench as Aziz is coming to terms with returning to his own life. And he goes, "Well, am I ever going to see you again?" And Keanu goes, No, you're not." And Aziz kind of just looks at him a little sad, a little contemplating, and goes, "All right, well, if I go get tacos, I'll leave one out for you." And then at the very end of the movie, as you see the progression of Seth's life and Aziz's life, they go out and get tacos, him and Kiki. And literally the last scene in the movie is these invisible hands just picking up the taco to take a bite. And I was like, oh, that's such a stupid little joke, but it's so nice to have it paid off there. And oh, what a cute moment. Like,
It's so
it
heartwarming.
is. And I was just like, ah, see,
Wholesome.
look at that. He's still watching out for him. He left him a taco. That's so nice.
That's the thing. I mean, I walk out of this movie and yeah, there was some cringy stuff that happened, but I didn't walk out of the movie being like, I hated this, I hated that. Oh my God, it was so cringy, blah, blah, blah. No, I enjoyed the movie the whole entire time. And every single time the story progressed, I thought it took good twists and turns. And Seth Rogen did a great job too. I mean, I feel like, it's probably easier for him because he goes from the billionaire to, the down to earth guy. So it's easy for him to like flip those roles and then be a super comedic person about everything. I think one of the funniest, because I DoorDashed a couple times, but that was hilarious when he gets into the parking lot and he does all this work and he goes, I get paid at the end of the week.
Yeah, or
now.
Keanu getting his
What?
first check from
It's
washing
so
dishes.
funny.
Like, you go to your first job and you're like, okay, but like it says I made $800. Why am I only taking like $350 home?
I know. it's a great story about just the modern day lifestyle, and I feel like that's how it was probably for every single era, whether it's like different, but no, I feel like that was the biggest strong suit of it. And then definitely Ari and Kiki's character, like their connection was so awesome. And then the abilities that Keanu's character has to like show him his future. That was another funny part of this movie. It was when he showed him his future and then he goes, "That's all I have to live for? Are you kidding me? An Amazon driver and then a dead dog? That sucks." That's so funny to me and that cracks me up. And that's the thing. It's nothing special. It's not the greatest story you're ever going to listen to or watch, but these actors put on a great consistent performance to where you're never bored. I was never bored during this movie. I was always wondering what's going to happen next. And, it was pretty funny along the way, which I did not mind whatsoever.
Give credit to the acting from all three of these guys. Seth Rogen, kind of like Jim Carrey, became known as the modern overactor. If he was supposed to be high and doofusy, he was, to an extreme. Aziz can be a lot in his roles too. And Keanu, like you stated, is kind of known for being monotone. And each of them stepped into a different version of what their characters needed for each part of the film, I think really, really well. Because this could easily have been overacted, underacted. And then the lines that you would look at and, we think are funny because they set it up well and it was acted out really well. We'd be looking at going like, I don't think it worked. And so the performances in here were really top notch, especially for a comedy that really didn't do anything special, but did enough to kind of get you to care about the characters, care about the story, and make sure that the delivery just wasn't awful. And that's for a comedy, especially balancing that tone and the script writing can be really difficult, especially depending on who you're working with. So huge bonus to you guys for all playing your characters really well, putting in unique individual performances instead of kind of just going back to your default comedy. Although I will say the last time that Keanu Reeves was in a comedy, he also played, as he called himself in the movie, a dum-dum. So, he's had some experience with it. That was really great, though. It was another one of my favorite moments.
He should have never done the Matrix 4. I mean,
1 through 3 is
every
fine.
time I see him on the screen,
I'm
like,
need
that
4.
Matrix movie. That was awful. I mean, I was just happy to see him do something else, besides obviously John Wick and, the stereotypical stuff that he's been in lately. But to see him kind of be funny and just this, it was just so funny. I love the whole entire Angel bit and, what when he got brought into the real world, that was my favorite part of the whole entire thing.
Oh, yeah, on the rooftop. I completely forgot about that.
So
I'm perspiring.
Yeah.
I need deodorant.
It's so funny.
What is this feeling in my stomach? Am I hungry?
Hungry?
Yeah. I mean, really. And they're underrated moments, but it's a really well done movie. And like,
and it was a pretty packed theater. It was a pretty packed theater. I was surprised. Of how many people were. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of people were surprised, were wanting to go see this. One of my good friends was sending me reels and he goes, "I can't wait to see this." And he probably is going to wait to buy it and, wait for it to come out on streaming. But this is definitely a movie that if you want to go, I would probably go see it in the theater. But if you wait for it to come out on streaming,
you're not missing much. You know what?
Sure,
I tell you what, here's what you do.
Yeah, you're not missing
without spoiling the entire diner scene altogether. Get yourself a chocolate shake, some chicken nuggets, and a cheeseburger, and some tacos, and just make like a hodgepodge of everything. Sit down and watch this movie streaming with that food in front of you and a couple of really good friends. Be a great time. Be an absolutely great time.
Great time. This is such a chill, like down to earth watch. I loved it. And then, oh my God, speaking of a relatable,
Oh
the
my
parking
gosh.
tickets. I mean, that is. I mean, and then guess what? I walk out. I have this spot in our where we live. We have to pay for parking everywhere, and I kind of refuse to pay for parking. So I go and I park, in this area, and I walk back, and I finally got a ticket. And I'm like, oh
Yep.
my God. Of course, the movie where I watch where parking tickets are such a main storyline in the movie. I end up getting a parking ticket, and I'm like, oh my God. So now I have to pay. I'll probably go park in the parking garage now and end up like taking whatever I need. But no, it was a very funny moment because I was like, God dang it. I go watch Good Fortune one time, and now I have to freaking pay for a parking ticket. That spot was
He's
golden.
been parking
for me.
there since
But that
like
was
June,
hilarious.
guys. Like
I mean,
you have no idea. I walk to the theater all the time, and even when I would
no parking
drive
ticket.
because it was
Don't
raining
pay.
or whatever, he would go, okay, but just go park on the spot that I park in, because then you don't have to pay for it. And neither him or me have gotten a ticket since we started doing this in June. So it's actually really hilarious that happened the day we go to see a movie about a guy who's got his car towed because of too many parking tickets.
Freaking Gabriel came down, and he was the parking ticket angel. It was that's another thing that was hilarious that they had. It was kind of Wes
the
Anderson
introductions for the
when they went to each individual angel. But they didn't end up being prevalent to the story. But they were. I thought they're just costume designs.
Oh
were
yeah,
funny.
the size of the wings joke is
funny.
not gonna get old anytime soon. Huh, I have really little wings.
Oh, not
well, I mean, it's not about the size of your wings; it's how you use them. No, it is about the size. Oh,
yes, it does. It is about the size. It's hilarious. But no, it was an overall good movie. I had a great time at the theaters. I mean, there's not really much else to talk about. I mean, other than it was just a good, consistent story. And that's what we've been preaching for. It's like you don't have to go crazy with the budget. You don't have to get... This was a great cast of characters, but I'm sure that they managed their spending enough to where they didn't overextend themselves. And we saw a decent amount of people in the theater. So they're probably, in my opinion, I mean, people were hyped about this movie, and it got good ratings on IMDb. It got a 7. I mean, you're going to probably see a lot of people, and they're probably going to get their money back. And that's all anybody's been asking for. Just come out with a good movie with a solid story that's relatable. And this is probably the most... one of, if not the most relatable movie of the year when it comes to like real life issues and stuff. And you're in your 20s, you're trying to make it, or you're chasing a job or a dream, and things don't work out. And it's a good spin, it's a good story twist, and I loved it. And Seth Rogen really killed it. Seth Rogen's been kind of on a tear with the studio, this movie, and he's gonna get a season 2 for the studio. Seth Rogen's kind of on a tear of just being like a good actor. Not he has definitely paved out of the way. He's a good director and a good actor and a good storyteller. He's always been.
It's nice to see him branch out. I feel like he's getting the respect he deserves. He's not completely a different dude in this movie, but he does step enough out of his comfort zone that I look at it and I go, that wasn't a typical Seth Rogen role though. And I like that because the more that he does and the better he gets, I'd like to see him explore, some of that stuff. I mean, Steve Carell and Will Ferrell and even Jim Carrey all took their time doing I won't say super serious roles, but more serious roles in movies that weren't just slapstick comedies. And so it's nice to see him kind of step out of that box for a minute and go, no. I mean, there's going to be jokes in here. We want it to be funny, but that's not all it's going to be. We're going to tell a story. We're going to have, some good vibes going out. I mean, it's just nice to see. But IMDb gave it a 7. Brett, what are you giving Good Fortune? Disincluding the dejection you have from getting a parking ticket after seeing it.
No, I'm going to give this an 8. I was going to give it like high 7s, 7.8, like 7.7, but I'm going to give it an 8 because I was genuinely just surprised of how good the story was, how relatable it was. I felt like everyone had a moment to shine in this movie. They didn't just lock in on Ari's character and then, see how everything unfolded once the switch happened. Once the switch happens, you get a piece of how it impacted everybody's lives. And that's the beautiful, beautiful thing about this. Yeah, you can get all the fame and fortune and get everything you ever wanted, but, how does it impact your relationships with Kiki's character? How does it impact your relationships with Jeff's character and even Gabriel's character? So that's what I love the most. Is it was funny, but it was also kind of serious. But there was some really good laughs in this movie. I think people are gonna really like it and find it really funny. And it's just a chill movie. If you're scrolling on streaming, or if you're looking to just find a chill movie to go watch, you don't want to go watch a horror film, that's gonna scare you off and keep you on the edge of the seat the whole entire time. You want to chill and have a good vibe at the theater, you go watch Good Fortune. And Keanu Reeves is the funniest part of this movie. And I feel like we've been waiting for a good, different Keanu Reeves performance besides John Wick. He's done great in Constantine and the early stuff that he was in and a couple other comedies. But this one, he really branches off and does a great job. And I think that's what I appreciate the most. Seth Rogen kills it. And Aziz kills it too. And, these guys Seth Rogen and Aziz are both comedians, but they destroy it when it comes to, being a real actor and being a real person and trying to be relatable. And that's what I like about it a lot. So there's my long-winded rant. I feel I covered all my bases.
Yeah.
But, it was good. I give it an 8. I give it an 8.
Quick
it was
little
it was a solid movie.
Jab.
And I've been asking for this.
Took at
I've
the
been
horror
asking for
film
this, and they
industry
gave it to
there,
me.
though. Didn't love that. That's fine. Because, he was supposed to watch Black Phone 2 with me today, but
I bailed.
Okay,
Is
fine.
Okay?
I told you it's fine.
I bailed.
He is going to see it this week, though, so that review is upcoming. Don't worry, because he loves horror movies. Loves them.
Couldn't keep your mouth.
You
keep your
took
mouth
the
shut.
jab
You
at
had
horror
to call me
films
out. You had to call
first.
me
I'm
out.
absolutely not taking responsibility for this. It's the first horror film.
Not excited for Wicked. Not excited for horror films.
All
You
right.
know what? I'll take all the jabs.
My review is going to
I'm
actually
done.
match yours for only, I think, the second or third time since we started doing this. I'm giving it an 8 as well. It was comedic. It was wholesome. It was nice to see these characters perform in the way that they did. It is not a award-winning story. There's no award-winning special effects. But it is the comedy that I know if I throw that on at some point in the future, I'm going to enjoy watching it just as much as I did today. It's going to turn into the next Michael B. Jordan film of comedies that I just throw into rotation because they're good. This one definitely lands in that. And the messaging about finding value in your friendships, in your family, in your relationships, and not just putting everything on the fact that life is tiring and exhausting and can sometimes wear you down a bit, but to focus on the good is not something that we see anywhere. So it was really nice to have that be a pivotal part of this film and show that, there are benefits to doing that. Like you said, you can have all the money in the world, but you don't have good friends, good family, good relationships, things that you find joy in life. Well, it's really difficult to turn around and make something good out of having a lot of money in the bank. So it was a good film. We will be back soon for Black Phone and whatever else it is we decide to watch upcoming, though we are getting awfully close to November. So don't worry, because even though he says he's not excited, he is still super excited to go see Wicked. I am going to see it at least 5 times in theaters.
We'll see what we do.
It's going to be great. But thanks for hanging with us. Oh, yeah, dude.
5 times?
I'm going to see the double feature that comes out 2 days before the movie, and it's 5 hours and 15 minutes of Wicked, and I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Somebody told me they watched it 3 times in 1 week, and I just go,
I've watched it 3 times this month.
And they made so much money. How much? What? How much was their budget?
It
Was it
wasn't
$1 billion?
$1 billion. No.
Had to be $1 billion.
But it doesn't matter because the last movie made $500 million plus. So even if their budget is $500 million,
Whatever.
that means they made at least $1 billion. Get on board, Brett.
All right. This one was great. I love this movie, and I'm happy that I think the studio is trying to realize more.
We're getting a lot
over,
of quality over
whatever
quantity.
and
I even saw little insert
it's
on
good.
a movie that's upcoming that I know you'll be excited about. I saw a new trailer for Bone Temple before Black Phone 2. Holy smokes, does that movie look good. The 28 Years Later franchise just tearing it up. That comes out in January. We will be seeing that, and I do know good. Brett's not even a little sarcastically excited about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be absolutely. I gave it an 11 out of 10. It's my movie of the year, 100%. I mean,
let's just hope it's not another Mission Impossible.
Yeah, we'll need to do a podcast. We'll need to do another podcast, but it's gonna be great. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. We're just gonna go with the flow. See you guys in the next one.